The marquee matchup this week in Major League Baseball starts tonight in Los Angeles. It's the two top teams in the National League, the two best prices to win a pennant in the NL, and the two top World Series contenders facing off over the next 3 nights at Chavez Ravine in L.A. The Dodgers play host to the Philadelphia Phillies. Neither team playing its best baseball as of right now. Now, Los Angeles is 9-6 since the All-Star break, but they started out winning 5 in a row, 6 of its first 7. They have dropped 5 of their last 8, but a series victory against the A's this past weekend. The Philadelphia Phillies snapped a 6-game skid yesterday in Seattle to avoid a sweep against the Mariners, but the Philadelphia Phillies just 4-11 since the All-Star break. These two teams, Donnie, of course, faced off at the bank in Philly in the final week before the All-Star break in the middle of July, and it was a resounding statement made by the Phillies, a 3-game sweep over the Dodgers. What will we see this time as we change venues to Los Angeles?
Yeah, take a look at that total. That's probably what I'm most interested in typically. But, hey, let's get to the over at this point. I'm not going that way. I don't think we get to 9 runs, which means you're probably going to get a push and or a win. The reason being, if we're taking a look at the pitchers on the mound today, last 60 days, minimum of 20 innings pitched, there's 16 of those. Two of the top 3 pitchers on this card are going to be from this game. Number 1 is Glasnow. Now, he might have a slightly higher ERA over the past 60 days, Ben, at a 4.61, but we don't really look at that number necessarily as an end-all be-all. It's more that xFIP minus number, where he's the best by far on this card at a 69. Aaron Nola is third on the card at an 81. Both of these guys with manageable Sierra numbers and xFIP numbers. I think they might get the best of it, because you look at the Phillies roster, loved what they did yesterday. We'll see if that continues. But also, they didn't do all that much against a really good pitcher in Logan Gilbert yesterday. Sort of when he got out of the game is when they took advantage. You might be getting the same thing today out of a Tyler Glasnow start, but also from a Phillies perspective, Nola has been very good over the past 60 days, and also that lineup isn't all cracked up what it's meant to be. Look, Nola does struggle a little bit with left-handed batters, so you're going to focus on Shohei Ohtani, you're going to focus on Gavin Lux. There's no difference in that. Kevin Biggio's even had a very good run over the past 30 days against right-handed pitching, but outside of that, it doesn't look like a fantastic lineup. So for me, I see the minus 136 price. It does make some sense. The Dodgers at home, theoretically playing better baseball than the Phillies, but I do think this tracks more of an under here on the West Coast in a playoff atmosphere.
Yeah, 7.5 is that total, dropping down from 8. The Dodgers remain that slight home favorite at minus 132. If there is a time the Dodgers are an underdog this week at home, L.A. has been atrocious as an underdog. They got swept by Philly as a dog a couple of weeks back. 4-9 for the Dodgers. The Phils 9-9 straight up, and even 500 booked as an underdog. And again, here is where these two teams stack up. The Phils a 6-game lead in the NL East. The Dodgers a 4.5-game lead in the National League West. The Dodgers plus 160 to win the National League pennant. Philadelphia plus 230 to win the National League pennant. The two best prices. As we look, though, Donnie, for who will be that number 1 National League seed, the Phils a favorite at minus 145. The Dodgers' second best price at plus 135. A much larger lead for the Phils before the All-Star break than where it is right now. Philly enters this midweek matchup in L.A. with a 1.5-game advantage over the Dodgers.
Yeah, and it'll play out the way it does. And the reason I say that is the Phillies have a tough West Coast stretch where they're not playing their best baseball. And these numbers will change, just like we talked about the Cy Young Award race here, on a day-to-day basis. You're going to see these numbers shrink. Hey, if the Dodgers sweep the Philadelphia Phillies, full-blown panic in the city of brotherly love. But you're also taking a look at down the stretch. We are now talking about that NL West getting ultra-competitive with some really good teams chasing you, whereas the NL East, the Phillies still have that 6-game lead, but you're looking at Atlanta saying, oh, they're injured. What more can they do? And then the Mets to see if maybe that, fun run eventually runs its course here. But I do think getting to the playoffs and being overall the top overall seed has a lot to do with what your division's going to do. And I think you're going to get a lot more pressure, Ben, from that Dodgers side than you are from the Phillies side when it's all said and done.
Yeah, San Diego and Arizona playing lights out as of this moment. Philadelphia will head to the desert to take on the Diamondbacks for an extended 4-game weekend series following this one in Los Angeles. After the Phils completed the sweep over L.A., back in the final week before the All-Star break. They were 61-32. They were 6.5 games in front of the Dodgers for that top spot. LA at the time just 59-39. The Titans have lost their last 6 series since that series sweep over the Dodgers before the All-Star break. 8 more games to break down for you around MLB. We'll do that up next for the prop perspective with Tom Vecchio and beyond. Some baseball breakdowns from Donnie. More on the early line to come next. Live right here on the early line on this Monday, all around Major League Baseball, a 9-game slate, including a very peculiar matchup today in St. Louis. It's a makeup game. It's just one game for the Mets as they visit the Cardinals today in the Lou. It is a virtual pick'em as well. Sean Manaea gets the start for the Amazons. -112. The Mets an ever so slight favorite in St. Louis. 9 is the total. The Mets lost their weekend set, dropping their last 2 games against the Angels. St. Louis lost 3 of 4, losing its weekend outing against Chicago. 2 teams in National League wildcard contention that are just trying to keep pace with the Diamondbacks and the Padres at this moment. Who gets a much-needed victory today under the arch?
Should be a pretty even game here, but I might be leaning a little bit towards the underdog. Now, typically, that's never a good thing where you have Sunday night baseball where a team was playing on the road, then they got to come back home, and it's not necessarily, playing that 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night, 5:15 Eastern start here, so a little bit of a travel delay for St. Louis. But it's one of those pitchers, Andre Pallante, that's on the mound today. Take a look at his last 60 days, Ben. An 81 xFIP minus, which is good enough for 4th on the card today. ERA 3.12, xFIP 3.29, so very manageable numbers. Now, I do like that offense here for the Mets, the way it presents against right-handed pitching. But if we are looking at some other numbers on Pallante, ISO power number 132, weighted on base percentage 285 through his last 72 batters. He's really been doing well. So I think I have a slight pitching advantage tonight with Pallante taking a look at over Sean Manaea. But if we are saying, okay, how do the St. Louis Cardinals present against Manaea? Manaea's a left-handed pitcher. He's actually done decent against right-handed batters, which, again, the majority of the batters in this lineup will be from the right side. The only lefties, Burleson, Donovan, and Nootbaar, who actually have really bad numbers against left-handed pitching. It's one of those where you say to yourself, single game, it's not a series, it's a drop-in. St. Louis played last night, maybe looking more towards the under. But if I had to go with the side, I probably would take St. Louis at home as the slight dog price because I do think they have the better pitcher on the mound today.
9 that total as of this moment in St. Louis. We have one of the hottest teams in baseball since the All-Star break, the Diamondbacks, 11-4. They have won 9 of their last 11. And the best team currently in the American League record-wise, that's the Cleveland Guardians. Today they meet up in the land. Zach Gallen gets the start for Arizona. He's won 3 consecutive outings for the Diamondbacks. And the D-backs, a road favorite in Cleveland. What do you like in this matchup?
They probably should be at this point. Now, also, it's still hard to win on the road, and the Guardians are a very good ball club. And if I tell you this, how about this? Only 21 batters that Logan Allen's faced over the past 30 days. It's not a lot, but he does have some really good numbers. An 0.59 ISO against and a weighted on-base percentage of 277. But when you take a look at that season in totality, that bumps up to an ISO power number against at 244 and a weighted on-base percentage of 386 through 387 batters. And even if we're looking at the list itself today, 16 total pitches that qualify for my card, 15th out of 16, that's Logan Allen with a 122 xFIP minus over the past 60 days, an ERA above 5, an xFIP above 5, and a Sierra rate at 5. That's usually devastating there. And Zach Allen, we know, is a pedigree pitcher. There are some rain in the forecast tonight, thunderstorms, so always buyer beware. Where you say, I have the better pitching matchup, and by the 3rd inning, you're knocked into a bullpen start. But obviously, you can't handicap that way in the morning. The better pitcher is Zach Allen. I believe those numbers are correct. I'll ride with the road team here, the Arizona Diamondbacks.
The Chicago Cubs took 3 of 4 against the St. Louis Cardinals. The Minnesota Twins beat up on the other Chicago team this weekend, as you would expect, sweeping the White Sox. They face off tonight inside the friendly confines. The Twins, a slight road favorite at -116. Over-under is 8. You can see that's a pick'em price, a little bit of line movement in favor of Minnesota. What's the breakdown tonight at Wrigley?
Now, typically, most people will say, like, well, you know why there's an 8 at Wrigley, right? That means the wind is blowing in, which it is. Some rain in the forecast, but I don't think it's going to affect the game overall tonight. 78 degrees at first pitch, which is nice, but that wind is blowing in, but it's under 10 miles an hour. They're not hurricane force winds, 25 miles. Like, boy, you get the ball in the air, it's going to blow from center field back into the infield. That's not the case here. So I actually like the total. You take a look at Hendricks on the mound. He's a right-handed pitcher. He's actually done very well against right-handed batters, but a lot to be desired against lefties. And you come into that lineup just against right-handed pitching over the past month. We're talking about the Minnesota Twins, Wallner, Miranda, Kepler, Lewis, Buxton, Larnach, and Castro, all well above their weighted on base percentage averages against right-handed pitching. That should help. Flip it over to the other side. Chicago going up against Festa, who hasn't had a lot of success through his 85 batters that he's faced, Ben. How about this? An ISO power number combined, 325, disastrous. Weighted on base percentage, 402, disastrous. You got some decent hitters in the lineup, particularly in the middle of that order. If we're looking from ISO power numbers that should be elevated, Pete Crow Armstrong, Cody Bellinger, Seiya Suzuki, Michael Busch. So I look at that 8 number. Forget about the side. I think we get 9 runs or more, despite the wind blowing in at Wrigley, which, again, is under 10 miles an hour. It's not devastating windy conditions. I like the over here.
Yeah. The highest total of the night in Kansas City. It is 10 in an important midweek matchup between the Royals and the Red Sox. 3 games this week at Kauffman in KC. Kansas City, 2.5 games in front of Boston for that third and final American League wildcard spot at this moment. The Royals playing better baseball as of late. They have won 6 of their last 7. They took the weekend series against Detroit. The Red Sox winning this weekend as well. Big matchup, postseason implications. What's the look tonight in Kansas City?
Yeah, you probably would lean towards Kansas City because they do have the better pitcher on the mound. Even if Singer isn't putting up unbelievable numbers, he's still at a 92 xFIP minus here, Ben, over the past 60 days, which is certainly above average. You take a look at Paxton, every time he lines up, what are you worried about? Fly balls, not a lot of strikeouts. And when you're talking about that, at 92 degrees at first pitch in Kansas City and 6-mile-an-hour winds blowing out, you might be in for some trouble. Paxton's a left-handed pitcher. He does well against lefties. Here's the issue. He only got 1 lefty in this lineup tonight for the Kansas City Royals. And if we're just looking from a right-handed perspective, last 66 batters, a 214 ISO, and a weighted on base percentage of 378. You know who you're looking at right in the middle of that lineup. Witt, Perez, and Renfroe. 353, 333, and 400 ISO power numbers respectively here. I can never bet on James Paxton, and I can never bet on him on the road. I do think Kansas City is the better team, even though, you know me, I love me a lineup for those Boston Red Sox. I just don't think they match up as well, just because I don't think their pitcher is all that good. Should have a good night for hitting tonight, no doubt about it.
Double-digit total. It is at 10. Donnie, before we let you go, to get to the money line to start off this new week, will it be 21 consecutive losses for the Chicago White Sox tonight in Oakland?
Yes, they're gonna pop the champagne bottles in their own locker room tonight by taking down another L for themselves. We're doing it in reverse here, so we're gonna celebrate that.
Interesting. I do kind of like the perspective. Talk to you tomorrow. More on the early line comes your way next.